Alrighty then. Should be live now. Playing with it's new to me, OBS. I used it probably like once up until this point. Let's see. Yep, we appear to be good. All right, so SEO this week. This is episode 159. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. Today we're going to go over some new stuff. And then I kind of want to redo another way of thinking about site audits, really. So typically when we do a site audit, we go over a website and look at, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong, etc. And determine why it isn't ranking. I wanted to kind of flip that over on its head and do one or a few, maybe, depending on how you guys like this, do a few on determining why a site is ranking. So we can kind of reverse engineer that, use some of the tools we got. And in today's case, I'm just going to stick with Quora and Quora Lite. Probably Ahrefs and maybe Majestic if we want to get into it, and a little bit of Google to just kind of figure out why a website is ranking, and maybe some of the conclusions that we can come from it just by looking at it. So we look at a tool, for example, like Quora, and this says these are all the things you need to do, but I would like to see a tool that actually takes that and flips it on its head, and these are all the things that they're doing good. So the data is there, and we're going to try to figure it out and plug through that. Audience interaction is highly encouraged during this process. Maybe I'm doing something you guys don't like or don't understand, or maybe you have a better way and you want to share that, and appreciate that. So we'll go through that process at the same time. You also notice the Ted's not here. Well, I'm using OBS. I was using Wirecast before, and remember before that we were using Zoom. And Zoom, the video quality is kind of going down because of just the way it streams to YouTube. And I wanted to make sure the YouTube viewers are at least getting the best that I can do. I'm an amateur at this whole video thing. You can see him playing around with it, and it's still got color hues and all that stuff to mess with. But and Wirecast was actually using 100% of my CPU, and it would stream and then cut off for whatever reason. So I got to figure that out with the TextMist people. And in the meantime, I'm using OBS, which I kind of actually like him better. It was a little bit easier to set up. I had to watch one YouTube video to figure out the green screen stuff, and then this guy actually had a good video on how to play with the colors, and you see they got some of the less lines are missing from a hat and all that stuff, so that's pretty awesome. And I can set up some different scenes, and the interface isn't as scary, so we'll see how that goes as this process moves along, and whether I just keep it. That said, I also wanted to have more guests on. So, like if Ted is doing his own thing, it's internetmarketing.gold now. Every Monday he's doing like a news of the update stuff and that kind of thing. He's just started that content piece out, and we're looking forward to seeing how that carries over for those two guys over at Internet Marketing Gold. So, and then having him on my show, and then we have him on Wednesday. That's a whole lot of Ted. So I want to get some new guests on, and in a way to do that while keeping the video stuff and all that other things means that we're trying to find a way to integrate Skype with OBS so I can bring visitors on through Skype. Two issues with that is, one, how to do it. I've done it one time before, and I forgot how to do it because I haven't done it in so long. And then two is that eats up a whole crap ton of bandwidth. That's the stream from Slack or Skype coming in, and then me pushing it out to Restream.io, which handles the connections with Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff for the simulcasts. So I have to figure that out, and if that's even feasible. If it's not feasible, what I'll do is maybe pre-record some interviews, 10, 15-minute slots, and we just kind of interject those into the show. That way you get a new perspective, you get the news, and then maybe you get some of the tutorial stuff that we're doing all at the same time within a reasonable, that 1 hour time frame that you guys have been generous enough to give me to watch SEO this week. But with that, I wanted to balance that out a little bit too. That's, me on Tuesdays and then me again on Wednesdays is a whole lot of me, in my opinion. But Ted drives a show at SEO Fight Club, so it's a lot less me and more Ted. So I think that's okay, and kind of balance all that stuff out and make sure that you get everyone's perspective. But you're also entertained, for one, because you're not going to come back if you're not entertained and informed. And we want to do that too, so we'll see how that goes. If you like the car behind me, that's my dream car. It's the 2021 is the new goal. You remember last year I wanted to do it. I wanted to get it this year, and I was actually right on course. Priorities change a little bit because we want to get an RV so we can go out and enjoy Arizona a little bit more. And in that case, I had to buy a 2500 to tow the camper. We want to get a fifth wheel, so we had to push the Camaro off for one more year. No big deal though, because it's they're still be making it till 2022, 24, I think, before they close down this model. But that's the new model, so I'm gonna keep my dream car up around so I can see it and remember that this is my goal for something that I want. I don't need it, I want it. That's the thing. So, but we got to pay off the other stuff, credit cards and the other truck, and go from there. So that's how we accomplish that. All right. So let me go to sharing the screen, and I'm going to wait till I can verify on YouTube that this switches over to actually see my screen. Yep, it worked. Okay. With that, here we go. So remember, I said I wasn't going to go over actually the web pages anymore, just because it kind of gets a little bit old seeing that, and we just go off on the tangent. So here's the news stories that I like, and I would like you to, or if you have the opportunity, to check them out. And one is this Google Search Quality Raters Guidelines. This is a guide for beginners, and it really is a guide for beginners, in my opinion. But it looks at the Quality Raters Guidelines. If you're a Marie Haynes fan, it's kind of based on how she does it, and how she optimizes her client websites for the EAT factors that are built in within the algorithm. And she uses the guidelines as a process to go through that. If you get the chance to join her membership, she's actually got it's like a template that breaks down the guidelines. She broke them all down, put them in this Word document, and then you just go through there and kind of do your audit based off of what the guidelines say. It's actually pretty cool, but a little bit time consuming. I think I gave it to one of my Sharper team members over at Over the Top SEO, and it took him probably 2 days to get through the whole thing. And just to come up with the recommendations based off of the document. But it's pretty, like I said, I think it's probably worthwhile, especially if you want to add something to your toolbox. And it just use these rater guidelines because their clients are getting smarter. They're on the sites, and they can see these quality rater guidelines just as well as you can. So having a deliverable that addresses those, and you can plug that into your SEO plan, in my opinion, be real helpful for them. So let's see. On the topic on this one, like I said, it is really for beginners, but I like when people do these because you get the new fresh download link for the guidelines yourself too. So if you haven't downloaded a recent one, try to do it at least once every 6 months. Make sure that you have the most current one, and then if you have the opportunity, go get that printed out. All 168 pages of it. Find a better printer though than like an Office Max or something, because they charge a stupid amount of money to do color printing. It's like 35 cents a page, which is dumb. So find a better method of achieving that. I do it at home, but every time I turn the printer on, I got to buy new cartridges because we don't use it that often. Let's see. Next one is Google test black URL under the title snippet. So if you know the title snippet is clickable and you're in the search results right now, the URL, more of a breadcrumb format is on top of the search results. Well, they moved it down and they changed the color to black so it doesn't look like it's clickable. And then you click on the title. I think it's, that's a CTR thing. It's probably pretty cool. Honestly, if the title is clickable, I'm kind of happy with it. You know what I mean? But changing the HTML in there does mess with rank trackers. So if the rank trackers they have to stay adapted to that, and if they remove the URL completely, it'd be interesting to see how rank trackers adapt to that and have to look for it purely in the HTML code, the backlink that the title is linked to. So that'd be pretty interesting. And then they can even screw with you, rank tracker builders, even a little bit more, and they change that to a Google referral type of link. So nobody can see the URL directly. You got to click on it and get 301. Or like a hide referral thing. Like if you're in a black hat world kind of thing, you click on one of those links and it hides the referrer. Maybe that they do something like that too. They could really screw up the rank tracker market. I don't know if it's coming to that, but this is it's an interesting test. I really, other than the CTR and testing CTR, I don't see the purpose of it. And it really wouldn't tie into the ads unless they're changing the way the ad blocks look. And they want to find a way that they can change consistently organics and ads in order to increase that blend in a lot more than they are already. And in which case, that's really a dangerous stance for them because of their FTC, people looking at the FTC and Congress and everything looking at them. So we'll see how that goes. This is this next post is a top e-commerce SEO mistakes you should avoid. If you're big on e-commerce, and this might be something to look at just as a good reminder of what is some things that you don't want to do. Duplicate content was one of the issues. Bad URL structure, lack of schema, those kind of things were all pretty much listed in here. I would, it's well written article. And it's just a good reminder, especially if you're in e-com stuff or if you're doing affiliate stuff based off of e-com sites like a Target or Walmart or even Amazon still. And just in how you built that affiliate store. That'll be important to look at. This next one is how to create a launch outreach. So if you're trying to launch a new thing, I'm trying to launch whatranks.com. Dogs again, every show, right? Dogs. I'm trying to launch whatranks.com. And on there, I have the free Quora course. So if you ever wanted to know how to use Quora, you can go over there and sign up. And the only thing that I ask in exchange is your email. If you don't confirm the email, Aweber doesn't send the code to my website, and you don't get access to the course for free. That's kind of how that's worked out. So in this case, if you are launching a white paper, you have, one of those skyscraper contents where you just spent like 2 months writing this piece on whatever. You want to have a nice list of people you can send that to and kind of push off and launch and let everyone know, get the word out. Public relations is basically, this is what we're talking about. In this case, this post goes over that a little bit. This is written over by the Sparkio people. Hopefully I said that right. Yeah, Sparktoro, the Rand Fishkin team over there. And it's actually really, really good. And gives you some tools and some templates to mess around with and kind of implement this process. And there's a video to go along with it as well. So I'm going to go over it one more time and look at it and then combine it with my other efforts as I build What Ranks into something a little bit more with the schema course, the on-page course, and the off-page course that I'm building. That's the I want to be in a position to launch that a lot better, right? So this is definitely a must read for everyone who's in that position. Or if you're just doing research stuff, like if you're doing white papers for your clients or whatever, and they have them, use those to push that out, and that's a good link building opportunity too. You get promotion and link building at the same time. This is the 3 best types of content to create through the third quarter. Really, it's do blogs, build infographics, re-engage your emails, email lists, and there was one other one. I think it was like video in there. This is kind of good if you're looking for a little backup in regards to talking to your clients about, hey, having to create more content and stuff. I'm lucky. My clients have teams behind them because they're large businesses, so they have teams behind them that can support a full-blown content editor thing. And even most of them, even my newest one, he's pretty much on autopilot when it comes to content. He knows the market inside and out way better than my guys will. So he has the team, and I just kind of point them in the right direction. And I think we're a week in with that project, and we've already ranked his Apple Store page, working on boosting his Google Store, and at the same time doing his money site. This is a mobile app, by the way. That's why the Apple Store and the Google Play. But if you're not with a customer, you don't have a client that has that, and you're fighting with hey, I need we're going to spend some of your ad spend is going to be, or some of your SEO spend is going to content, and this is why, and this is content you need. You need to create it. This is another good argument as to why that's a part of your billing cycle. And then finally, it's newsjacking. Not a whole lot of people talk about newsjacking. Like in the affiliate space and some other markets, those guys are gangbusters at doing affiliate jacking, but the SEO in general is a little shy to do it, or maybe even they just don't know how. But you can do newsjacking in 2 ways. One is to follow the news cycle, like this article suggests, and learn about your customers and what they're worried about, and kind of figure out how they're going. One part of the news cycle right now that you should all have a good grasp on is how the state and local governments are going to start bringing businesses back online, because those people, as they come back online, are going to more than likely want to get a jump start on things. So they're going to be the PPC people who are looking for PPC management or Facebook ads management. They're the people who are going to be looking back to turn their SEO campaigns on it or start new ones if you haven't done it. So you should have that in the top of your mind right now, and how to address that and serve those people. And that's where this newsjacking comes in, because if, let's say, governors want to open business types X, Y, and Z, but the customer insights that you're learning from Google, the news, says that business type Z, they don't agree with it. And more than likely, that's not going to be the businesses that they're going to frequent. But those businesses are still going to have a marketing need, and you can kind of leverage that and put together this sort of proposal type document based off of, here's what the government's doing, here's why you're allowed to open, here's what your customers think about it, here's how we get around that and still bring them in anyway, and I'll let them know that you're safe. So there's some marketing plays here. And then the other one is just plain on newsjacking. You just jump on a topic and write posts about it and do some PRs and kind of get the ball rolling, and you can get some viral stuff going. In particular, if it's a hot topic. Just keep in mind, from a public relations perspective, you don't want to get too nutso, because this can actually backfire, and you can get a lot of hate coming off of this as well. All right, so that's the stories. Again, you can come here to digitalleader.com. Site's still messed up, as a matter of fact. I haven't done anything with it yet. For as you know, we're building that, rebuilding it with the course. But table of contents is right here. Click down to the story you want, and you begin to go. I'm going to ask the audience real quick while I get a drink. Is there any questions in regards to these stories? Okay, no questions. If anything pops up, I'll just get to them at the end. All right, so the next part I wanted to do is kind of move over into looking at, like I said, I want to talk about doing a site audit. We want to do it in reverse though. We want to see why the website is ranking, just see if we can learn some insights from them. Perhaps maybe even come up with a linking plan, or a ranking plan that you can turn into essentially an SEO template for that particular market. This week, I'm going to look at in the legal market. I don't have any clients in the legal market right now. We actually had a patent attorney. I say had, but he's still there. But we do a kind of a work share thing with them. And what that, we do their SEO, and they do some of our trademark and patent work for us for free. So it's technically not a client, I'm more of a partner. And then I used to do some PPC work for a bankruptcy lawyer in Texas. But other than that, this is kind of a new market to me. Ted Kabitis is actually more familiar with this. I think he uses one of these terms. I want to say Los Angeles as his testing term to verify that all the stuff is working right, because he knows that the search results really well. So I want to look at it in this way from a fresh perspective. And I think that'd be really helpful for everybody. Let me switch back to this screen. So the term we're looking at is DUI attorney, Los Angeles or Dallas DUI attorney. And I'm going to turn on. There you go. SERPworks. I'm going to redo the search and get SERPworks to populate inside of the search results. It's kind of the first thing that I always do is look in the search results. What kind of sites are there? Am I going to need to build that kind of site? Is there an opportunity for a different site? What is the CTA of all those sites, etc.? And if you're not familiar with this, and this is what I've seen in pretty much all the local markets, is these directories. So just like any other local search directories are doing really good inside of Google. To me, I don't see how that reaches the solving the problem or ending the search goal that Google has. When your response to a search is more search engines, it's kind of stupid to me, in my opinion. But we do have, regardless, we still have directories. There's expertise.com, attorneys, super lawyers, DUI.com. That's an awesome domain name. Find laws there, and the best rated. So the top 5 are all directories, which is really crappy for small business owners, and legal law firms are small businesses. Some make a lot more money than others, but for the all practical purposes, they're small businesses, and now small business owners regarding or has to pay. Even this one, the search volume is what? Here's 50, yeah. And let me turn on keywords everywhere, because I don't like the response from SERPworks. And I'll hit refresh here in a minute. But then we look at the DA. What is the DA's? 50s, 59s, 30s, 83, 47, and then our first real site, our first actual firm is at 27, and that's pretty good. Here's another one. His actual firm is 23, and then the Yelp and Justia, 2 more directories, another real site, 22. So you see, from a domain authority, if that's your metric, a Moz domain authority, these guys are already sit behind the power curve, because these sites are being able to be built really fast and boost up a decent domain. DUI.com, I've not really seen this one a lot. Somebody must have just got a hold of that domain and built a directory out of it, which is kind of cool. So that's a 30, but the rest of these are really high, and it kind of sucks for them. Trust flow here is pretty good. Citation flow is all right. And I'm over here referring domains. Links is not too bad. URL rating of 11 and 11. These are kind of low, in my opinion. But if you look at it, here's 40, 77, 90, 31, 80, 84. So this one is kind of the one in the woodpile, right? So I think the problem here is it's a directory, and they're leveraging the fact that Google prefers directories over actual real local businesses in their search results, and that's why they're able to achieve those rankings. Site structure, in other words, reply. So this wasn't the number 6. It's the number 1 real local business. So we're going to look at, I want to dive into that a lot more. To do that, you can use any tools that you really want to. I get SERPworks on here, and I also like to use SEO Ruler. SEO Ruler is actually really cool, and I support him financially. I donate on his Patreon, and then you can get some more tools that are actually on the page site. So you can copy all the stuff that's in here. We don't want to do that. I just kind of want to look at some of the meta tags and stuff. SERPworks will do this too. You can kind of get the same view, but you see is leading with the term DUI and DWI. So that might be a good indicator of something we need to do. It's in there twice. DUI is there twice. Let's see. Attorneys is there, even though the term is attorney. There's our DUI. So there's no exact match in here. That may be an indicator. When we look at the other tools, we'll look at the titles and descriptions and see how many are actually using Dallas DUI attorneys and the exact match in their titles and meta tags. Next is links in the head section. I'm kind of not really worried about that. Now look at robots just to see. Maybe sometimes you see some people that put some cool things in there. In this case, we don't see anything too cool. There's your sitemap. Let's check that out. One thing you will note here is, see, the site is actually HTTPS, but the sitemap is linked as HTTP. It could be a trust issue. It's not. It's showing up as not secure. I doubt it really matters that much, but it's kind of odd that that's published that way. And this is not a Yoast thing, so something else that they're doing. Some link profiles inside of here, etc. That would be pretty cool to do. One thing I didn't do was run Sitebulb to see the visualization, and I can't run it now because if I stream and run the computer, it'll kill it. We learned that last week. Headers 1H1, H2s. We can kind of look at those, just at the counts and kind of see how that's going. That's pretty interesting. Let's look at the actual, here's the structure saying, and I like this, this is how I build up my pages, right? So H1, H2, H3, H4 in the structure. And you see these missing things in here, and it's something that might be just, when you're building a website, you just kind of keep this cognizant. In this case, we're trying to figure out why they're ranking. So H5 is good. DWI lawyer in Dallas is not the exact match. That's kind of telling to me. DWI attorney in Dallas, not the exact match. DWI evidence and H4s. So in here, there's no exact match for any of these. Let's see. Giggles. I want to actually, I'll just do this. I'm going to search for this. DWI, exact match. Kind of expected that, right? Lawyers, attorneys. It's not on page 1. So our target site's not on page 1. So that's kind of interesting. So they're not on page 1 for DWI lawyer, and that's what's inside of the headings. But they are for Dallas DUI attorney. So we'll look at this, and maybe these headings are not really a play at that. Let's see what this is. Some Zoom stuff, internal linking, and then their images. Alts are weak. Scorpion is the site, the builders that did this site. I bet you if we looked at the content, we would find that probably half, maybe even more, this website is duplicate for the other Scorpion client. So if you hate Scorpion and you want to go after a client, kind of look at this, build a proposal based off of them, and try to, go take these people, Martha Law offices from Scorpion. Let's see. And then let's see scripts, some Scorpion JavaScript for the chat. So, they're paying for live chat from Scorpion. So that's something that you'll have to address if you want to win them over, is have a live chat solution, some CMS stuff. And other than that, I don't see anything big deal. And some mass JavaScript that's asynced. And my guess is that's coming from the live chat too. And they're on Twilio. They're using Twilio for some stuff. So that's pretty interesting. The Scorpion's probably running this and then doing their SEO. And my guess is they probably own the copyright on this website too. All rights reserved. Yeah, there's the link to Scorpion right there. Let's see. What else are we going to look at to kind of figure out why they're ranking? And I looked inside of Google for their backlinks. As you know, this link operator, sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't, but it's probably your best opportunity to find hidden PBNs now. There used to be a way you could do it with Bing Webmaster Tools and their Site Explorer, but they took the power of that out of it, which just kind of sucks. But you can go through here and see some of the linking. Just make sure that when you build this, you exclude the site that you're looking for, or else you're just going to get a whole bunch of internal links. That is not necessarily bad, though, because you can do that and see the internal links and kind of figure out how they built their silos inside of Google, or how Google is seeing them. But there's also better tools for that, like Sitebulb, and the visualization might be better for that. But this is a quick solution to see it as well. So we're looking at their backlinks. You see some SpyFu stuff. This is interesting. This kind of leads me down another rabbit hole where you see how much of these SpyFu SERP analysis pages are linkable. And if you have a SpyFu account, go do the query and then get your SERP analysis indexed. That might be interesting. So you I'll have to research that a little bit more and see if it's worthwhile to actually do it. And plus, I got to find someone with a SpyFu account. And then you look at some of their other backlinks, and you see, this Facebook's link profile. This is another directory. So they got a lot of citation stuff going on. NOLOs. This is interesting. That's not a link. These are not links. This is links from, it's probably another directory. And then you click in here and you do a little bit more. Again, this method is not accurate at all. It's not even close. But you might find something sneaky sitting inside of here. Find a PBN. You just might get lucky. You can leverage that. I'm going to shut this off for now. I'm just going to keep looking. I see mostly citations from this search bringing this up. And then as you see, it kind of goes away. This is why is there a a link to a law office on a, this is another directory. Response. Yeah, so this is a paid directory for Garland, Texas. That's actually pretty smart. A local link, murder loss on Aweber. And this is the normal junk that most of us see anyway. You can click this and look through there more, but I don't think you're going to find anything more. So with that, then we look at Ahrefs. Again, if they, depending on who their SEO is, this is Scorpion, so I'm not sure that Scorpion is hiding their PBNs. Maybe if you guys have a client that used to be on Scorpion, or you're targeting someone that's using Scorpion, maybe you can let me know. I'm just going to search for. Let's just go for the page. See if we get anything. 2 referring domains, 12 backlinks, and they're ranking for DUI attorney. That's interesting. Let's look at their referring domains first. Findattorney.com, 10 links. These are 2 decent links, really. And PR log. This one is from a press release service, PR log analysis. Let's look at it. Excuse me, I had a sneeze. That's pretty interesting. I mean, translate this. Let's see if it'll let me. I don't see it. I might have to open it in Chrome. Yeah, it's not gonna let me. Is there an option down here? Nope. This is kind of a breakdown though. This is interesting. I have to figure out what this is. There's some keyword research stuff in here too. That's interesting. The link is there. It's got some good. Yeah, URL rank is 10. You could boost that up. And that might actually be really helpful. So that's a link opportunity if anyone knows how to get into that, prlog.ru. And then this is going to be a directory site. Watch, find a DUI, attorney.com. Yep, this is a directory site. It's a rather old one. And I didn't see this in that list, right? So it's an old directory site that's probably, it's got some good stuff, domain authority to it, or domain rank in this case. But I don't think that's really the what's pushing that website up. I'm going to go with there's some PBNs hidden. Here's a link, no text. I like those. I like these no text links. People are smart. There's probably an image there. Let's see. Yeah, there's an image hidden in there. That's Dallas DUI attorney, Dallas DUI WI attorney. So exact match. Let's see, referring domains. It's on that directory again. I wonder if Scorpion owns this directory. Which that would be very telling. If it does, how do you get into that directory, right? And then if it's Scorpion, they own it themselves, can you go through this directory and find everybody else's, all their other clients? Be an interesting question. Let's look here. That'd be really smart for them, though, if they own a whole bunch of directories like this. What do you build, 10, maybe 20, 50, depending on your client base, directories. That's opening really slow. and then put all your clients in each one of those. And now you have your own little network. And then when they stop paying you, you just kill your network, or you kill their listings on the directories. Obviously, the hosting, it's not a good site. Geez, look, we already killed it, and we just clicked on it twice. So, or I'm being blocked for whatever reason. Yep, resolving a host is kind of stuck. So they're not a good website. So if this is indicative of the pattern, that might be something that you could look at, find some more Scorpion websites and see if they built this directory, a directory PBN. If they did that, you kind of know how to beat them at their game. You can create your own directory PBN and put it on some better domains, and then plug your clients into there and then send links to these. So it doesn't look like they're sending links to these pages in and of themselves. I can't verify it because it is down. Oh, that's smart too. If they're doing press releases, hey, we're building press releases for you. Here's your press release. That's on this domain. You're double downing. So now you got this directory of DUI attorneys, and you're doing press releases for I'm doing press release link building, and you syndicate your press release to all of your directory PBNs. So you're not lying. You're doing press release link building. It's a crappy site if it loads like that or the server's junk. But look, we're pleasing for you. Yeah, see, it's kind of the press release post kind of thing, but check it out. Exact match Dallas DUI attorney. So we're getting a lot closer into how how Scorpion is working and how they're ranking their stuff. I'd like to put a call out if you guys know any more Scorpion websites. Let's do this again. With one of them and see if we can kind of tie that in together. I'll look for some more too. It shouldn't be that hard finding them. They put their stuff right down here. So if they do that on all of their websites, we may be able to get a whole bunch of them and review the link profile and see if we can't find if they're using just one of these. It's possible. You just use one of these and then you blast the hell out of it and push all the power through and rank the website. Or maybe they have a collection of them. They're using almost, exact match anchors are there, pretty high. So I think we're onto something. It's not the on page really. There's not really optimized for the term we're looking for, and is not ranking for the term that it's optimized for. It's ranking because of the anchor text, and it's ranking because of the links, the backlinks that we found. So now we know that we have another link building opportunity like that. So I can tell you right now, personally, I'm sitting on probably 5 to 10 of these directory type domain names. And if this is how they're doing, then why not kind of build that out and try it myself? It should be no problem whatsoever. So I think that's it. Typically, actually, I did say I was going to look at the Quora stuff, so let me do that. This is the report out of Quora. This is the Quora Lite. So again, we're looking at Quora Lite. You're comparing it to, in my case, we're comparing it to the top 10 websites, and they're saying we got to add some more stuff. And I think about some of these numbers, and I think about the fact that we have directories, especially when it says add 1,742 more of these variations. What that's telling me is that there's directories inside of there. We already know it, right? So we know, looking at the search results, that there's directories in there. So it jacks up your numbers. If you're competing against directories, you almost have to exclude them or you got to run 2 reports, one with them in there and one without, so that you can see, you can find the differences and the matching stuff that kind of get that and make that a little bit more important. So title has best, we know that's probably something that's more realistic. These variations here, that's really unrealistic. You're going to put that many variations inside of a piece of content? There's no damn way. Entities and HTML tags, business names are entities. So if you're pushing, you're competing against the directory, you're going to have some absurd number like this. So you got to take those out of there, and then run a second report and then put them side by side. Hopefully you got a big monitor and you can just see, you can run down the line here and try to clean that mess out. So here I would look at titles as best. That's probably a good one. Number of images, we're right on line there. So I'm not really getting too worried about that. Variations in the href tags, that's something you can take care of. You're probably not going to meet it. Remember, variations is all those business names, right? So you're probably not going to get it, but you got here it says 97 that are there. So you can play around with that using the title tag and use title inside of the hrefs and add some more. Title has sales words, title has sentiment words. Those are kind of things that I would look at in regards to improvements. But for the most part, this is kind of just putting me right in line with where you are. If you want to be number one and you want to do it fast, make a directory on a higher a decent domain. Doesn't even have to be a high authority domain. You saw that with DWI. Good site structure, good domain name will pop you right into the first results with a directory. And this is not really giving us a whole lot of indication of why our target site is winning. When we look at the Quora HTML output, this is actually the Quora software. You see that the variations and the numbers of use, we're not really too messing with that. I want to go into Open Graph and see, they're putting some in here. Here's Mather, Dallas, DOIs, Dallas Loney's. So, the highlighting of the variation is not really telling us a whole lot. I don't see anything standing out other than the only one. There's one here, Dallas DOI attorneys. That's exact match. DOI, that's partial match. DOI attorney. DOI lawyers. Dallas criminal attorneys. There's another one, Dallas DOI attorney. Dallas DOI lawyer. Oh man, that's Dallas DUI attorney, Dallas DUI lawyer. There's not too many people using exact matching their titles and in their open graphs. When we look at that and see that a little bit closer, you don't see that there, right? So maybe that's the lack of it being there could be indicative of why something is ranking. And we know this page is not optimized for Dallas DUI attorney. It's optimized for DUI lawyers. DUI lawyer in Dallas. And maybe that lack of optimization and then being in those directories and stuff is what is valuable here. I would play with that. If this was mine, or if I had a competing site like this one here is, if anyone's screaming for optimization, it's probably these two sites, right? I would play with that, try to get these two as a client, and then switch those around and say, is exact match going to help, or is partial match like copying what Mather is here, or Mather Law is doing, and kind of remaking it related, a variation of it, but targeting it through anchor text. So that's something that this might be useful for us. With in the H1s, you see none of them are optimized for the exact match term. This is pretty interesting. H2s even less, and H3s even less, and then I pretty much stop at H4s, and there's nobody optimized for that. So is that an on-page play? Is that on purpose? Or maybe all these people know something that we don't know? That's a good question. We go into the descriptions. There's one with the exact match. And that's not even the exact match. That's a related DUI lawyers versus attorneys, which we're doing. So, there's none. So is that on purpose, or is that something that Google's looking for, a page that is not optimized for the keyword? I'll let you guys let me know. Tell me what you guys think, especially if you're in this market. What are you seeing across the aisle there? And then we go into meta keywords. People say, "Oh, they don't work." They clearly have some value in some cases. This is a little bit much. Maybe I would do, I guess if you're going to do something like this, is just get the variations out of Quora and put them in there, especially if you have to add some more. But yeah, okay. And then I'm going to mess with those. And let's see. All right, let's look in here. This is the Quora report. Apologize. And I want to go over to overview. And we're looking at here, because we want to see why they're beating everybody else. In order to do that, I have to see the entire Quora sheet. And there we go. So I'm looking for things that kind of stand out over everyone else, right? So let me zoom this in. Where's Zoom? There you go. So you guys can see it. That should be a little bit better. Hopefully that's better for you. I'm looking for things that stand out. Obviously, we're losing against all of them for most of this stuff. That's why it's all red, right? You can kind of look over here and verify that. Yeah. And then I don't want to go past line 62 because everything else is statistically irrelevant. And you see what these, if you look at this again in this perspective, you see how directories screw up the ratings. You know what I mean? You're comparing against the top 10, but look how bad those directory sites screw this up when you're thinking about on page. It's already indicative of what we already know. Google likes directories. They want to answer search results with search engines. It's dumb, but they're also advertisers for Google, so why not reward them, right? And then you get in, and when you're competing against that, now you have to do it with authority and on-page power. So we bounce this off, and then you look at this, and we look at some of the things that are just beating the number 2. Let me see if I can. Oh, man, I don't know if this is going to work. Where is that stupid freeze? I don't think this is going to work. Nope. That sucks. But here's one. This is beating everyone, right? So we know that's higher than everyone else. So let's look at that. What is that factor? Keywords and the body tag. So there's a lot of keywords in there. So it's not keyword stuff compared to these other directory sites, but compared to the next real website, they have way more keywords. And we look at number 28, and I wish there was a better way to freeze the column here. Keywords in the HTML tag, that kind of goes along with the body. That's why those numbers are similar. Here's one, number 33. We want to look at that. Entities in the PR in the HTML tag. Yeah, see, we're doing better. So we know we need some more keywords. We need exact match keywords inside of the content. You notice we didn't do it. It wasn't in the headings, but we saw it's in the content. The core has seen it there, and variations are in the content much better than most of the competition is doing. There are some outliers in here. Yelp, that's a directory. And this one is Thurnham Law. So that's probably a real competitor. And then the rest of their numbers look all much higher. So maybe we don't need that. Maybe that is not a factor of why it's ranking. Here's another one that's kind of crazy out there based off of everyone else's. Let's see. LSI words and sentences. So that's something that we would have to look at a lot more. Doing this one here, 47. And I'm going to stop it with this one because I think you guys get the point. Number of HTML tags. So, that is probably, I would look at that and see why is that so high inside of here. Maybe it's just the structure, the way they built the site, how the site is designed. And then I lied, we're going to do one more here because this one's crazy high. Let's see, that's DOM detailer, Majestic backlink. So I don't have a Majestic account. We shut it off. We're using Ahrefs almost exclusively now. But there's a DOM detailer saying that Majestic is reporting a whole bunch of backlinks. So we would have to look at that and see what the deal with that is. It might be a good reason to turn on the Majestic account again, or just take it and push it into link research tools and do it look that way based off all the sources that we see from link research tools. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys got something out of this, and kind of looking at the tools, in particular Quora, because I'm a fanboy of Quora. Is how to take these reports and turn them into something useful beyond what everyone talks to them about them being, right? So everyone says Quora is an on-page optimization tool. Well, I just proved to you that Quora is a data tool. And you can use that data for on-page optimization, or you can use that data for reverse engineering and market and SEO research to see, like we did today, why is a site ranking versus why is it not? And that's probably a really good approach to take, especially if you are in a market, in particular lawyers, right? Lawyers have a sense of competition that is higher than most. It's an alpha personality thing, especially in some of those different classes of law. And if you approach an agency or a firm and they're number 5 or number 10 or number 12, and you know that they're advertising a whole bunch against the number 1, like they're spending a crap ton of PPC just so they can compete with the site that's ranking number 1. Instead of going to them and saying, this is why you're not ranking, go to them and say, this is why your competition is ranking, and approach that conversation that way. And you might trigger something really, really cool that leads into some more client base. All right. So there are a couple of questions. And if you guys have any questions in regards to what we did there in the reverse thing, let me know. In the meantime, I'll just go off with these. And Dennis Dunbar, does expired domain and expired 301 redirect still work? Yep. Those actually still work for buying links, passing off power. You can use those for filtering and stuff. There are some other tricks, the double 301 that everyone's talking about and all that stuff. That's all there. The key to 301s is one, remember, excuse me, they've always been useful, but as things go back and forth within the SEO community, go popular and unpopular, what happens is more people start talking about them. So a lot of people are talking about 301s and 301 redirects right now. And then you always have I'm trying to be polite, but the person that will go to the Google Webmaster Forums, or the person that will go to the John Mueller talks, or the person that will go to the conference and ask Gary Iles, hey, this 301 redirects works. And that brings up the trend, and people are talking more and more about that trend. And what happens is, as people talk about that trend, people over at Google decide, hey, let's adapt that and let's fix this this, or let's make this a little bit harder to accomplish that. And what I am seeing now is if I do an expired 301 redirect, I have to do two things. One, I have to recrawl all of the backlinks that are there. And then two, I have to wait 30 to 60 days to see the effects of that. And that's just because Google it used to be when people weren't talking about it, you do a 301 redirect and then boom, you get the power from that right away. When people talked about on-page optimization and seeing the successes for that, hey, we're optimizing our websites a lot better. We're doing a lot better job. And when you ran it in Search Console, you got to see the results right away. Now Google's making us wait for even on-page changes. You wait anywhere from a week to 3 weeks for an on-page change these days, which is kind of, that's bull. They want us to make quality websites. We start making quality websites, and then they take out the tool that says, this lets us know, hey, this is what Google thinks about you did. Now I got to wait. 1 to 3 weeks. And that's horrible. That's horrible for small business. They're paying you $1,500 a month. In my case, $1,500 a month for a small business. It's not that they don't have or want to wait. Well, it's not like my clients, I screen them. So they all have patience. They know we're talking 3 to 6 month thing here. But when you have to tell someone, oh, you gave me $1,500, I did this whole list of things, but we got to wait 1 to 3 weeks to see if it worked. People get, it's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow, even for me. You know what I mean? I work in SEO, and it's a hard pill to swallow. So it's the same with 301. So they still work. You still have to worry about passing penalties through domains, so you have to be real careful. But it's still a good, solid link building method. It's a good way to capture traffic from old domains, etc. So don't rule it out. Let's see. Crush or Xtopher77, are you still using Magic PR? Was it affected by the GMB algo Google made in February? Nope. Actually, there's rumors going around. I haven't seen any proof of it, but there's rumors going around that there's a GMB update now, and the pages that we push through Magic PR are still right where they are back then. So I still use them. We still recommend them highly. And I trust Madge. As a matter of fact, I was actually talking to Madge today, and we were talking about sites in his network and doing another test, because we did it. If many of you don't know, as I work with Dory Friend over at SIA now, and she did a testing Magic PR versus Press Advantage versus Quantum. Press Advantage and Quantum and Magic PR published the PRs. Quantum didn't even get around to publishing the PR, so that one obviously lost. And then when you compare Press Advantage versus Magic PR, the Magic PR one won. And I think the reason is Press Advantage is doing, I believe they're doing some link building stuff, but Madge has a actual link building campaign going behind all of his things. And then he has independent publishers that are also inside of Google News. I'm one of them. I have 10 Google News sites. And those people are also treating that, those are monetizing properties, right? So I'm using AdSense and maybe some other affiliate stuff just to monetize it. So when people, and it stays in Google News, so you get the benefit of the backlinks, and Madge is worries about indexing up for all of his network and everywhere he syndicates and stuff. And there's just some things that a larger scale PR syndication place can't handle. So yeah, I would buy, and I still do recommend Madge's service. He's got 3 packages: bronze, gold, silver, and gold. I would recommend you get the silver one. He's added more stuff to the gold one, but the silver's always been just enough for me. So let's see. Another one. What tool do you use for recrawling backlinks to 301? So basically what you need to do is download them all. Majestic, Ahrefs, SEM, Rush, all the backlink tools you can download all of them, all those URLs, and then resubmit them through an indexer to force that recall. Don't just do like a speed links and co-linkery where they trigger the bot to call. Resubmit them for indexing. Use a index inject or Omega. Omega is a little bit more costly, so keep that in mind. But index injects works as well. But you kind of play with that. Find the really cool ones that are have a lot of power, and use those or submit those through Omega, and then the rest of them that are just kind of submit them through index inject, just to kind of kick along that power a little bit more. Next question is, how do you rate Hoth for link building? I've actually heard not use them, and the reason I didn't, there's a lot of people that complain about the Hoths, and one is you thinking about your scaling link building, and in order to do that, you have to own a lot of your own assets. And one of the number one complaints I hear about that is, I ordered guest posting and all they put it on a bunch of cheap PBNs. Well, no shit. You know what I mean? If they're charging $150 for 10 PBN or guest post links, then you're going to get PBN links. It's just the way it is. And if you can't handle that, then you just go out and build your own PBNs, and you can build them as wonderful and as great as you want, or you can just use some stuff that the Hoth is doing. I have not seen anyone say I got links from Hoth and my site burned down. I have seen people say that I've got links from Hoth and didn't do anything. But that is the extent of my experience with those guys. So they're still here. They're still around. People are still paying them a lot of money, and they still advertise and they still sponsor conferences and all that stuff. So they got to have something going on. So I would certainly, if anything, build yourself a test site and then go out and buy a whole bunch of Hoth packages and see where they're linking and see if you can build those links yourself for cheaper. That's what I would do. Or maybe even a test sites or PBN, have the Hoth build links to those, and then you could filter. You can link to your money site from that link where they link to, and just kind of filter the bad stuff out and push it into your website. So that's another thing too. Let's see. Paul, he says, do you have a quick way to find worthwhile expired domains? It's hard to go through the trash individually. I use Spamzilla. Make sure I say that right. Spamzilla.io. That's what I use. Play with their filters and stuff, and that's kind of how I find expireds. You can actually use Greatbox and do the GoDaddy closeouts too. Every once in a while, you get lucky and find some gems in there. But most of the time, I'm using Spamzilla. I'm looking for keywords and URLs. That's a reverse sink or swim. That model is taught by Greg Morris over at OMG. If you don't have an opportunity to check that out, they have a new thing called Traffic Tsunami. I'm in that. And I'm sure you'll find a whole bunch of resources on that thing. But I use Spamzilla to make that process a lot easier. Register Compass is okay. It's good too. Spamzilla is a monthly, and then Register Compass is a quarterly. Neither of them are expensive, so try that out. And then Mike Calvin. This will be the last one because I jumped over the hour and I wasn't paying attention. Mike Calvin, hey Clint, if I iframe a page onto an AWS bucket page that has content on the same topic and point links to the AWS page, does the iframe page benefit from the links and the content context? Yeah, so it does. And I actually did some link building the other day, some really quick results to a high PR domain name, or a high, I'll say PR, but the authority domain name. Using the exact model. So, and I used Corelight to create the page. So I had all that stuff and all those factors and entities and all that stuff in there. I wrote a nice header for it. And then I framed the website onto that. And I'll send backlinks to it. I didn't need to. Actually, I saw a bump from like nowhere to number 3 in the search rank, just doing that. And I build 5 of those. So but what you're doing is I've followed that process before, and I've done the backlinks to the S3 page too, and kind of filtered those up. You can do the same thing with a Google site or Azure, Google Cloud, and kind of go to town with that process. But to answer your question, yes, the page will benefit because it's linked to from a page with relevant content. If you're following Reverse Sink or Swim, that Greg Morrison's teaching, you know where else to put your keywords inside of your URLs and your title tags and your meta descriptions on your AWS page. And then what's really stupid cool is if you, let's say you're building that page out, right? And it's not there yet. Your writers, and you're waiting on it. And you've run Cora and Cora Lite, and you have this whole awesome piece of content. You have awesome schema. When you do that, it pops in and it shows up on your AWS page. So you're automatically scheming that too. So there's even more relevance. It's cool. It's a great benefit to knocking those out and just, and doing it smart. Don't fall for the tools that'll make, these stupid math sites. I make math sites. Don't get me wrong. The concept is not stupid. It's just you don't want to go like crazy nuts, especially if we're using these for backlinks. Be smart. Be strategic about them, about the use of clouds, and then be tactical of your implementation. And that's going in and hitting targeted things with 1-2 pages, not building 10,000 AWS sites crying that they don't index because your 10,000 junk pages don't index, and then linking to your money sites with all the same anchors, and then crying because that service doesn't work. That process doesn't work. And it's crazy amount of time and resources. So if you guys don't know what the AWS and making the iframe onto a page and why that concept works, or how to implement that concept, you want to look at the Semantic Mastery guys. They have RYS Reloaded. They taught all that. There's plenty of other people that are teaching it now, but those guys are the ones that, in my opinion, were kind of the forefront of the iframe and passing on and using that as a link building method, etc. Again, they're not the only ones teaching it, but they're the ones that are teaching it the best, in my opinion. So I would, take the opportunity to check them out. The RYS Reloaded is the course. It's kind of expensive, but maybe if you reach out to them, maybe they have a coupon code. Or if you're patient enough, wait for what ranks to come out. I'll teach how I'm doing it. I won't teach how they teach it, but I'll teach how I'm doing it, my play on it, and some of the things you can mess with it. So that will probably be in the link building section of whatranks.com. So if you want to stay up to date on that, subscribe to this channel, please. Hit the notifications button so you're notified when I go live. If you could, and you appreciate the value of the show today, hit a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit a thumbs down. Engagement's engagement, and I like it. And I thank all of you all for coming to SEO This Week, episode 159. And we'll see you tomorrow on SEO Fight Club.